The following program is seen statewide on California Public Television. Well, hello everybody. I'm Huell, and here we are on this typically overcast but beautiful June day at the beach in Southern California. Right now we're on Doheny State Beach, which is located in Dana Point in Orange County. It's a beautiful stretch of beach, a very historic beach, a very beautiful beach. And this beach is where we're going to be spending the whole day, right here at Doheny State Beach, which is definitely one of California's golden parks. Okay, the adventure begins. We are standing here on the beach with Ranger Jim Serpa. And Jim, we are here on this beach because this is one of the most historic beaches in all of California. In fact, it has the distinction of being a first.
That's right. We were the first state beach. May 31st, 1931, it was donated to the state by Edward Doheny. He donated 44 acres, and then since that time, we've had a couple more additions, so we're now up to 62 acres. We've got about a mile and a half of beachfront property.
And this was the very first state park on a beach.
Very first state beach to be donated to the state, correct.
Well, we're going to be here all day because you're celebrating your anniversary today. You got a lot of special events going on, a lot of, different things to help celebrate the anniversary of the park. A lot of history here in this park, and we're just going to dive in. I don't think we're going to be disappointed, do you?
No, I don't. We've got a lot to show and talk about.
We're standing over here by an exhibit they've set up here in the park that has all kinds of wonderful old historic pictures in it. Yours are some of the most historic. Tell us who you are and why these pictures are so historic.
Okay, I was 2 years old. My dad was a state park ranger in 1948 here on Doheny Beach. There was nothing here.
Well, there was something here. There's your trailer.
There's our trailer. We lived in that trailer. We lived on the beach in that trailer in 1948.
And what was that like to live on the beach in California in 1948?
Well, I don't know, because I was tied to a tree because my mom didn't want me to drown in the ocean.
Wait a minute, you were tied to a tree?
Yes, I was tied to a tree. Because I almost drowned twice out there, and she said, I'm tired of this. It's a safety issue. We live in this little trailer. I've got to tie my girls to a tree.
Well, you were just a little girl. You wanted to go in the water.
Yes, I did.
And how does it feel to be back now and think about that life that your parents gave you as a young child?
They gave me an awesome life, and it was just starting here in 1948, and I have another 30 years of memories. Started here, but continued on through the State Park Service.
I'm standing here on the beach with State Park Ranger Wes Cater. And Wes, it says 1953, so take us back that many years and tell us what in the world it was like here back then.
Well, California in 1953 only had a fraction of the population we have today. And so on our weekends, we had very, very minor crowds. We had a few surfers during the week at a small campground. The trailer area was across the San Juan Creek, and the beach was just a fraction of this size. I assume this beach now came from when they dredged the harbor over here, which wasn't here.
The harbor, the Dana Point Harbor, wasn't even here back then.
No, there was no harbor at all. We used to walk clear to Dana Point and back.
So really, for people in Southern California back then, beaches were almost like it was almost like a private beach, that you almost had it to yourself.
Yes, it was. You could come in here almost any day and find a campsite. You didn't have to have reservations or anything. Just drive in and say, I want to spend the night. Sure, and there's plenty of room.
They were great. We're standing here. You're getting kind of caught up, Jim, on the way things used to be here, right?
Right. We got two people that were here back in the 40s. We got Bill Vetter and Jim Galoon.
Nice to meet you. You were here in
43 or something.
1943 and
1947.
And who built that house, that burlap and wood house that I saw pictures of?
Well, that was mine, but we both built it.
What's the story on that thing?
Well, we were working here for the summer, both of them as sanitary engineers, beach attendants. And anyway, we decided we wanted a nice campsite, so we got 2x2 lumber and built a frame, and we covered, I know mine was about 10 by 20, And the stove and the table, the state park had those in already. And we hauled sand from the beach to have a nice sand floor.
So did you all live out here the whole summer in that thing?
Yeah. We'd go surf in the morning, go to work at 8 o'clock, surf at noontime, and get off at work and surf after work.
Part of the celebration here at Doheny today revolves around historic exhibits, and here's one right over here. Well, you're not the historic exhibit, you're standing in front of it. Introduce yourself to everybody.
I'm Alan Seymour, and this is the Vintage Surf Car and Surfboard exhibit.
Vintage surfing exhibit, and you yourself are a vintage surfer, aren't you?
Absolutely, absolutely. I started surfing here in the early 50s, caught my first wave at Doheny.
This was one of the early surf beaches anywhere in Southern California, wasn't it?
Right, this is one of the few places where it's a gentle break like Waikiki, and with the prevailing wind being westerly, Dana Point would block the wind, and then the wind would switch around and blow offshore here and make it a wonderful place to picnic and to surf.
Now, we're not here to talk just about surfing. We're here to talk about some of the things that went along with surfing, and you've got an amazing exhibit set up right here. Tell us exactly what we're looking at.
You know, it was important to me that when the Woodies became in the 60s and the Beach Boys, that all was another era. This predates that. This is when guys were kind of vagabonds and they slept in their cars, and this is a 1949 Chevy panel truck. And
now, this is the real thing.
This is the real thing.
So guys would have come up to the beach, they would have had their surfboards on the top,
right,
opened up the back like this, and just slept
exactly
inside
and
here.
You could sit here and you could cook right there, and they would come down and spend the whole weekend here at the beach.
Wow. And this would have been in the 40s,
late
50s?
Late 40s and 50s.
But you've got more to this
Absolutely.
exhibit, because it just
Absolutely.
keeps getting better down here. Okay, this was
49.
49.
This is 69, and
Now,
I want you to meet the owner of this car, Mickey Munoz.
You're not still driving this thing, are you?
You know, barely. I had to dig it out of the yard. Actually, Alan, you know, he coerced me into it.
Tell us what we're looking at here, because this looks authentic right here.
It is truly authentic. We have vintage wetsuits, surfboards. And oh wait, this you'll enjoy.
Oh,
Would you care for some clams?
Oh my gosh!
Show them the table. Show them how the table goes up.
This was your.
Oh.
I don't think this is left.
Toilet paper.
I don't think this has left this thing since you.
No.
Now what vintage?
Charles Shaw, $2 check.
What year was this?
1969.
Wow.
And it still runs.
Yeah.
It actually is strong. It runs good.
Now, would you just get to and from the beach in this, or would you actually stay in it when you were at the beach?
Well, of course. It's a camper van.
Yeah.
It's been to the tip of Baja. It's been to Canada. It's been all over the coast. And now I drive it about as far as I could push it, which
so
is
this
about
thing
from here to
got
there.
here under its own steam today.
It did. I did not have to be towed.
Boy, if this thing could talk.
It has some stories,
I
yes.
bet it definitely has some stories. And so do these guys over here have some stories. These are all part of this original gang that was here.
Erwin Spitz brought his car.
Hi, Huell. How are you?
Nice to meet you.
Nice to
This
meet
is
you.
your car?
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, wait a minute. This is pretty classy compared to what we've. Excuse me, I shouldn't say that about your place.
You better
but
be careful what you say.
now, this is what we think of when we think of a classic beach car, isn't it?
Yeah, this is something I use to cruise to the beach, take my grandkids down to the beach, and something similar to what we had when we were growing up, and that's how I wanted to build it.
But you were here at this beach as well.
Absolutely,
Was
yeah.
everybody based here as a surfer?
Yeah,
This
hi,
is.
Huell.
Hi.
Randy Zorn.
Nice.
Met you in 29 Palms about 8 years ago.
Nice to meet you.
sir.
We're a long way from
I know.
29 Palms
I
right
know.
now.
This is Niall. He's the president of the
Doheny Longboard Surfing
Well,
Association.
tell us a little bit. You're a surfer too.
Yeah.
He's got that look.
Yeah, we all kind of have that look.
Tell us what it was like to surf here in those early days, because surfing has changed a lot since you were here in the early days.
It was so good, Huell. This park wasn't even here. We'd be standing in water. We could paddle all the way to Dana pier from here, which is probably over a half mile. And it was absolutely gorgeous. Fish, lobster, wonderful place to be. And we're trying through Nile and the club to keep it this way for the future generations of surfing.
Now, what do you mean, keep it this way?
Revitalize the water, get rid of the pollution, and bring it back to what its original state was with the fish and the kelp and the sea urchins and everything.
Do you think the young surfers today even realize that it used to be so wonderful here?
No, they hear the stories. They don't realize how great it was. We've lost so much of our mystique for the great spots along the coast and here. So they hear the stories from us old guys and they just say, God, I wish, what a great year,
And what kind of stories do you tell them? How do you try to take them back?
Surfing in the old days, when you saw another guy on the road with a surfboard, you waved to him and said, hey, come and surf at my spot. Come surf with me. It was so uncrowded before Gidget and all that stuff. It was paradise here.
So you're blaming it all on Gidget. She started all of this. It was downhill from then.
Yeah, after Gidget got here, it went downhill. Kahuna and Gidget and Moondoggy,
Because in those days, you all pretty much had the beach to yourselves, didn't you?
Yeah, you had 25 guys if it was a crowded day in the water, and now you get 100 guys and it's like the freeway. So
well, you've established your own little. Now, we didn't talk about this over here.
This, my parents, it's a 1972 Volkswagen bus. My parents bought it new in the fall of '71, and they drove it all over Europe and Canada and the United States. And I owned it since they passed away in the '80s, and I kept it in La Paz for 20 years. And would fly into Baja, didn't have to rent a car, didn't have to pay for a hotel. And then my son became a Del Mar lifeguard, and he has used it since then. But I did the old photos of Doheny, and I put up this old trunk exhibit so you kind of see what it used to be. And then the oldest board from Capistrano Beach, that's 19...
Right over here. Yeah, come on, fellas, let's get over here.
Rare. Lauren Harrison married one of the women of Cecilia Yorba from the Yorba Land Grant, the Spanish land grant, and he had a barn, and he made these surfboards out of foam. He was the first guy around here to do foam surfboards. And it says Lauren Harrison Surfboards, P.O. Box 3, Capistrano Beach. And this is number 81.
This is a real piece of history here.
It's a real rare board.
Let's get all the surfers standing in front of this longboard here. Come on over here. This is great. This is history in the making right here. Taking us back to the old days. and of everything, I got to tell you, of everything I've seen today, though, even including the surfboard, your vehicle takes the cake. I'm telling you. That's the best. That's the best. Thanks, fellas. There they are, taking us back to the old days here at Doheny. Now, part of what's going on here at Doheny State Beach today, you've got all these wonderful exhibits set up that kind of take us back to the earlier days, and this beach has always been important as far as camping is concerned as well, hasn't it, Jim?
Yes. Before we were even a state park in '31, people would come down to the beach and camp. From that point on, we were unbelievably crowded. When we became a state park, people would flock from all over to come here. They would wait in line sometimes days because we didn't have reservations.
And camping has meant different things in different eras, hasn't it?
Yeah.
It could have been tents, it could have been sleeping bags, it could have been sleeping on the beach on a towel.
Right. And we've seen the whole gamut. We've gone from the little old pup tent that we grew up in to 40-foot rigs with satellite dishes and pop-outs and everything else.
Well, there are no satellite dishes over here because, Heidi, your name is?
My name is Chris Hart.
And your name is?
Cassandra.
Nice to meet you all. Tell me what we're standing in front of here, Cassandra.
We're standing in front of a 1956 Rainbow travel trailer.
And you spend a lot of time in this thing?
Yeah, we love it. It's really
is
fun.
That because your dad makes you spend time in it or because you want to spend time in it?
I want to spend time in it because, it's like a flashback to when it was.
We're already having flashbacks to the 50s and 60s, which is what this is all about, kind of tying it back to the history of Doheny.
Yeah, we've enjoyed going to different places in California and traveling and just enjoying camping and the people and being outside. And really being able to kind of feel like it was back in the 50s.
Yeah, would this have been the kind of setup they would have had, Jim? Something like
You'd
this?
have trailers like this, and at that time, the park was split in two. One part was for trailers, another part was for tents. The state actually provided you with a barbecue, or a grill and everything with its own gas. So it was a pretty nice setup.
Wow. And this kind of gives you an idea of what they would have been doing back in those days.
Yeah, because we try to make it as original as we can. I mean, anything new, it changes the whole vibe of it all.
So you like the old stuff?
Yes.
Keeps the old vibe going.
Yeah, I like that you had to work to do something.
See? Are you listening to
There
this?
you go. I like that. That's
wow.
what we want to hear.
Well, you did have to work, didn't you?
Yeah, because I mean, you don't have like TVs that you could just press a button. You had to go over and turn the knob, or if you didn't have plug-ins for electrical or water, you'd have to do it yourself.
Well, they probably didn't even have electric here in those.
We actually did have electric here. It was torn out in '57 and never put back in. We did have electrical hookups for the trailers.
Okay, now we've come to a part of the beach where a lot's going on. Bill, explain to everybody what this is.
This is part of our 75th anniversary. This is our longboard surfing contest, Minihoonie contest, Minihoonie being kids. And this is where some of the families and kids hang out at Doheny and enjoy the beach here. These very gentle waves out beyond me are excellent for learning to surf and excellent for kids as well.
So this is something that happens down here all the time.
This is the place to come with your family to spend the day surfing and enjoying yourself and barbecuing and just hanging out in the sun.
Now, what have we got set up here? This is your son.
Yes, this is Kaikea Walensky.
So you're getting ready to surf?
Yeah.
Now, have you surfed here a lot over the years?
Oh yeah, I've been surfing for about 30 years.
And so what's the deal of bringing him down here today?
He loves surfing, and I'm just kind of passing it on.
And you're capturing it all on the home camera here.
You got it, getting it all on film.
So is this the beginning of a whole life for him?
I hope so. I hope so. It's definitely a great life to have. I mean, being out here in the beautiful, beach today, and the water just doing great. I mean, the waves are awesome today.
Yeah.
So these guys are having a great time.
Are you ready?
Yeah.
There he goes. Got it. So here they come. Introduce us.
This is Kai Diamond.
Hi, Kai.
Hi.
What's your name?
Tanner Padres.
Hey, and Tanner.
Tanner.
Good. Now, what's the deal on your son here today?
These are the 8 and under Minihoonies. This is the youngest division, and I had a 5-year-old that surfed really well, and then this is my 8-year-old who's still in the event.
Now, is it any coincidence that this is happening at Doheny State Beach? Is this your old beach? Is this where you used to surf?
I learned to surf here when I was 4 years old.
Right here?
Right here, and my mother and father met here before they built the harbor. And fell in love here too. So it's a 3rd generation surf deal.
Oh my gosh.
Yes, yes.
And what is it about this beach that keeps bringing people back?
I would say this is the Waikiki of California right here. This is kind of like what San Onofre is, and for multi-generations of surfing, this is where you learn. This is where you begin. It all, this is where it all starts. And this is where you retire when you get real old.
Father, daughter, and it's a very special day today. What happened today?
Today was her 7th birthday, and she got up for the first time surfing by herself.
Cool. What was that like?
It was hard, but I thought it was fun. But my dad, but I had a wipeout that the board was too heavy for me to pick up, and I was under it. But then I got under it from the other side.
Well, wiping out is part of it, isn't it?
Yeah.
You just have to,
Wiping out is half the fun, especially on a hot day. So we're all very happy to see her get up by herself on her 7th birthday, though. We've been waiting for this one.
And she got up for the first time here at Doheny State Beach, which is part of this proud surfing tradition.
It's actually the same place I learned how to surf decades ago.
Really?
Yep. So we're continuing on the tradition.
This is Rachel.
Hi, Rachel. Nice to meet you.
She's the 8 and under finalist. This is my little guy, Michael.
And so you're in the finals. Wow. He's in the finals?
Yep.
So we've got a whole little, this is like the cream of the crop right
here. Cream of the crop right here. You've seen the future.
And I'm the only girl in the finals.
Absolutely. You're going to go out there and win the whole thing, aren't you?
Yeah.
So there's a real sense of family and connection and everything here today.
Absolutely. We're all here to support them. it's just nice to be perfect day for it.
All right, are we getting ready to get in the water?
Yeah.
All right, there goes one of our kids out here. Rachel's getting ready to head out. The contest is getting ready to start. Okay, we got two young surfers here. Your names are?
Kai and Jacob.
All right, tell us a little bit, fellas, about this beach. Give us the lowdown on Doheny Beach.
Well, it's a really fun beach because there's some good waves sometimes, and it's just a really good family beach, and just come down and hang out. And there's really fun waves, and everybody just has fun out here.
Is it a good place to learn how to surf, to kind of perfect your?
It's really like a beginner spot, so it's fun to practice and watch all the beginners and just
So is
have
this
fun.
where you started, right down here?
Yeah. Yeah, pretty much.
And are you going to stay here a few more years?
Yeah,
or?
yeah, probably.
So you're part of the tradition now?
Yeah, so we're part of the Doheny State Beach. Yeah.
So Jim, what's the deal? You got places set aside here for families to come and do their barbecues out here right on the beach?
Yeah, you can actually have a picnic here, and if you're having a large picnic, there are some that are actually reservable ahead of time so you're guaranteed a spot because they go really fast.
Okay, we've hooked up with, your name is?
Eddie Coronel.
Now you've got your whole family here, and you've been coming to Doheny State Beach for how many years?
Over 30 years now.
30 years?
That's right.
To do what? Celebrate?
To celebrate my birthday.
Well, happy
every
birthday.
Year. Thank you much.
Why do you keep coming back here?
Well, this is a good place and a very, very nice place.
And do you always camp out at the same place?
Most of the time, yeah. If we can get a good, come here early, we can catch the same spot almost every year.
Well, you're right here on the beach. You've got a perfect spot.
That's right.
This is what it's all about, cooking out at the beach.
You're right. That's what it is
Now,
on a
I
nice...
think you've been here before.
Once or twice.
And why this beach? Why do you keep coming back to Doheny?
It's a good family beach. It's got good sand. It's got good areas for parks and kids to play. It's just a nice place to be.
So you're sold on the place.
Absolutely.
This is your family here.
Yep.
They're preparing everything back here. You're doing the hard work up here, right?
That's what I keep telling them.
So what have we got going on over here, Jim?
We got a volleyball clinic. The volleyball is such an important part of the whole beach culture, beach volleyball. So we want to get some of the pros to give back a little bit and teach some of the younger kids the basic fundamentals.
So once again, it's the kids who rule the day down
There you
here.
go.
They're learning how to play.
That's right.
Like the big kids over here on
Like
the
the
other
pros,
two nets are doing.
Yeah.
Wow, this is just, this is just such a perfect setup for
right
the
next
whole.
to the ocean. You can watch the surfing. Your
but I
parents
mean-
can be over there barbecuing, and you're still inside of them.
Yeah, and look at this over here. It's really a beautiful beach, too.
Thank you. It's a great place. A lot of people love it.
Well, we've had an absolutely wonderful day here at Doheny State Beach, this historic beach, which started off as California's first state beach, first state park at a beach. We've met a lot of nice people. We've seen some beautiful scenery. The surf was up today, definitely. But of all the places we've been and all the things we've seen and all the people we've met today, we wanted to end the program right here because, Mickey, this says it better than anything could say it, don't you think?
Well, of course.
Don't you think?
I agree 100%.
I mean, this captures the flavor of what this place always has been about.
That's right. Growing up in San Diego in the 60s, I remember reading about Mickey and Doheny and had never been here. Now I'm working and
So wait a minute, you were a legend even in the 60s?
Well, in his own mind, of course. But let me say something. You know, this van really does represent one of the great characters here at Doheny was Pop Proctor, who his last car at 97 years old when he lost his driver's license was a Ford van just like this.
Really?
Yeah. And he lived in it for years, and he was a great character here and surfer.
And Pop was our very first lifeguard here at Doheny in 1944 at the age of 63.
Wow. There is so much history here, and we were just kind of kidding with you a little bit about this thing, but you're used to that. And this really does sum it all up. We've had an absolutely wonderful day. Thank you, Jim. Thank you, Mickey.
Thanks
for sharing this bit of beach history, Southern California culture with all of us right here at Doheny State Beach in Orange County, the oldest state beach, the first state beach in California. Started back in 1931, and it's still going strong. And definitely one of California's golden parks. We've had an absolutely wonderful day here. Now, at first glance, this looks like a pretty ragged bunch here. Stand up and introduce yourself to everybody, because you're one of the VIPs here.
Well, not necessarily VIP, but I've worked here a long time, 32 years. And I'm Steve Long. I was the lifeguard chief, and I'm now the park superintendent for Doheny, San Clemente, and San Onofre.
And this group standing here is called the
Naughty Knees.
The Naughty Knees. Now, there's got to be a story behind that.
Well, Steve actually knows the story better than I do, but it has to do with surfers. And when you paddle on your knees, the old style surfboards, guys would paddle on their knees, and they would have big knots on their knees from paddling. So it was kind of this anomaly on your knees that looked really weird, and nobody in the Midwest would ever know what it is.
It's like a calcium deposit,
right?
Isn't it?
A
Something
calcium deposit on your knees. And you all would know about this because a good number of you were actually lifeguards here, right?
We're three of us are still lifeguarding.
And do you play often?
We usually get surf songs requested because we are surfers and play a lot of surf music and old rock and roll music from the 60s and the 70s, the Doors and the Buffalo Springfield, and bands like that.
So this is a perfect place for you to be today.
It's perfect venue.
Perfect venue.
Well, I sure hope you enjoyed our visit to Doheny State Beach in Dana Point. It is a classic, and if you'd like to see it again or share it with family or friends, it's available on video cassette and on DVD. All you have to do is call 1-800-266-5727, and we'll be glad to send it to you right away.